In this video, we'll show you how to remove and replace a lower ball joint in a Nissan Versa. Remove the hubcap, 21mm socket, with a pair of cutters, we're going to take this cotter pin off. Always replace it with a new one, so we'll get a new one when we go to put it back together. Take the axle spindle nut off. And that's a 30mm socket. Make sure that that spline moves good because you want to remove that axle from the actual knuckle. Now we're going to take the lower ball joint pinch bolt out. So we're going to remove the ball joint pinch bolt, which is a bolt straight through with a nut on the other side, and it is a 14mm socket or wrench. And the wrench on the other side to hold the bolt. That's breaker free. So in order to get this pinch bolt out, I'm going to use an air chisel with a little hammer. Just like that. And now I can spin it out. All right, so I used my air chisel, just kept hammering it down. Got it almost out of the knuckle. I should be able to just pull it out. Let's see if we can get it the rest of the way. Beautiful. Now we're going to take this CV axle and pull this out of the knuckle. And I'm going to get a tie and pull this whole knuckle forward. So now that we can get to the control arm, the ball joint's out in the open, we're going to take this little lock ring out. And it's like, this one's pretty rusted, so hopefully yours is just as easy to get to. But I'm just going to take a cold chisel and tap it till it, let's see how it just popped itself right out. All right, so we know it's loose. Oh, there we go. Just pop that right up. Well, not much there. That is thin metal. That's old and rotted. Toss it aside because the new ball joint comes with it. Now you could take the boot off if you want or leave it on. I leave it on while I do more work. Now we're going to get our ball joint press and cup and punch this thing out. So I have my ball joint press set up. I'm going to give it a shot. Here we go. Let's see if it fell through. Reverse it. There it is. So we'll probably take a cold chisel or hammer and see if you can punch it out the rest of the way. Oh, I'll just pull it out like that. What you want to do is make sure that the control arm isn't damaged. Ours looks great. I'll clean that up. Sometimes I just take a little bit of sandpaper just to scour it so that it gets nice. When you press it through, you'll have a nice little grab. Let's clean it up. Just get all that grease out of there. So we have the new ball joint. I'm going to take that boot off because I'm going to press it on after I press this through. That way I don't damage it. See if we can tap it a little bit with a hammer and get that started. All right, then we'll get the ball joint press set up and we'll press it right through. So now we're just going to press it in. There we go. Perfect. Make sure you look all the way around. It's not at an angle and it's nice and flush. Now we're going to put the new lock ring on that comes with the ball joint. Use my pliers, expand it. Nice lock ring pliers. Make sure it's in the ridge all the way around. Now let's get that ball joint boot, set it up, and press it right on. I'm just going to use a socket. Hopefully that'll go around that. Maybe we can use a little hammer and tap it in. Perfect. Push that boot down to that next level. Make sure it's not going to come up anywhere. You don't want any water getting there, so just take your time. Balance it out. Yep, perfect, all the way down. So now we're ready to put the knuckle back on. Now I'm going to undo my ratchet strap, take the pressure off that knuckle and guide it back in. Let's take the bungee cord off the CV axle. Might have to spin that to get the splines to line up. All right, now we're going to lower this down a little bit. See if we can. I'm going to just push that ball joint. Hopefully I can put that pivot in. There we go, finally. A little tap on that. You're going to see if you can see where that cutout is, so the bolt, pinch bolt will go through. So now we can put the pinch bolt in, the new pinch bolt, bottom it out. I'm going to put the lock nut on the other side. Always start it by hand. There is a torque to this, so we're going to bottom it out and then we'll just torque it down. So the nut is a 15 millimeter socket that I'm going to use, and the head of the bolt is a 13 millimeter wrench. We're just going to bottom this out before we torque it. So the torque for the ball joint pinch bolt is 41 foot-pounds. So now we can put our hub nut back on, axle nut. I'm going to double check everything in here because I did move the ABS wire around because I didn't want to pull on it. All right, 30 millimeter socket. We're going to snug this up, then we'll torque it to factory spec. So I'm going to use a pry bar to stop this from spinning. I'm going to put my 13 millimeter socket on, and the torque is 83 foot-pounds. Now we're going to put the cotter pin in. This happens to be a 5/32, so it's big enough for the spot. It's not too small. And I like this, I'm just going to flatten it out both ways, bring it both around. And you'll see that, then I'll spin this, and I can just tap it down. Perfect. Put the lugs back on. Always start them by hand. We'll snug them up. Always go in a crisscross pattern. So 83 foot-pounds is the wheel torque. Going to go in a crisscross pattern. Double check. Now we can put the hubcap back. Make sure you get in alignment anytime you do any suspension work. When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.